Well, hello and welcome to SRL APAC. It's all around cricket. I'm back this week, and again alongside me in the commentary box, it's Formula Fish,
Yes, it's me. I'm back again
and we
after
have
hosting last week.
we're back at round 6 in Canada, and Ryan has got a 3-week winning streak going at the moment. Can he make it 4? He's got a 15-point lead over his teammate. So
Yeah,
it's
impressive last few rounds from Ryan. He's only mentioning last week he's on a good streak.
looks like we've got some inclement weather here at the
Light
moment.
drizzle.
We got some spit here on the track. So
Looks like everyone's going out just to get a lap in as early as they can so that they're safe, pretty much. So they don't have to do a lap on the intermediate tyres.
yeah,
I've got a message from Warden.
he's probably about the weather.
Tick that box. I don't need to worry about. No, tick that box. I'm hosting it, so I don't need to. I don't need to tick it.
Yeah, it's I was speaking of the stream. Obviously, a lot of you guys will know we had some issues in Baku. Now that was due to the recent update of the Twitch app that I had. Now I normally host, and because of that, the Twitch app seems to not be behaving as it should. So as of now, for the moment, Fish will be hosting the streams. So
Yeah,
I'll still be
just
in the
wait.
commentary box as I'm aware, but yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Obviously, my net is normally pretty good, so as from the previous streams, that they're normally fairly decent. So unfortunately, trying to sort this out, and hopefully I can sort it out with Twitch and see what happens. But yeah, for the moment, Luke can stream, and that's good. We can get you the broadcasts.
Yes.
So everyone out on track so far. Now we've got a new name on the list that some of you might notice. That LSCM Iron Toucan is actually Ruthentic Bird, so he has changed his name. So interesting to see if the name change will help his performance.
He's done that because he's in another league, which I think is actually a Forza league. And yeah, so he's changed his name for that. Did I just see a car spun in the first sector? Or second sector?
I'm
So we didn't get yellow flags.
we have got yellow flags. I'm trying to
now
find.
on Tree Dome a bit wild out of the hairpin.
Matt's had a bit of an incident out of the second chicane there. Ryan has the quickest lap so far, 15.2. And that could possibly stand for this session, be looking at the current conditions.
Yeah, and track conditions aren't improving. We've got into Sector 3 as one of the Mercedes is just going really slow out of the chicane.
Ho's had looks to be a spin at the first corner. Zombie's retired, so maybe he has made a mistake and won't be able to continue, but he's really in trouble. As Ben at the moment is only down an 8th, just with the rain, this rain just hitting the track. I don't think there's...
Everyone will be hoping that it fixes itself, but yeah, it's not looking too good for those that haven't set a lap.
It looks at the moment that this weather condition is going to...
Spun. That's HO who's spun again. It looks like these conditions are set in.
Now, I just watched Jared deliberately cut the second chicane, so I'm wondering what that is about. Now, that you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
He'd be on an in-lap anyway. I mean, he's struggling. He couldn't get it straight out of the hairpin. He ran wide into the hairpin, so his lap would have been invalidated regardless. So, and yeah, as I thought, straight
in terms of behaviour though, qualifying behaviour that's not very acceptable.
No.
as such.
Especially
So
considering the B to try to reduce wear on tyres, which is a little bit unfair.
well, he hasn't set time, and there's only one person that's got inters on, and that is Conrad Straight, but he's still in the garage. So at the moment, we're going to have 5 cars not setting a lap, just not being able to get out quick enough. So that is interesting.
6 cars without setting a lap.
And they're all relatively close, but yeah, it's as Conrad's actually going out on the inters. Actually going to go out on the inters.
Just saw a group chat message. Zombie Hunter invalidated his lap, so...
Yeah, I figured he'd made a mistake somewhere there, so...
Yeah. And I was talking to Neon Tridome before the race as well. He was planning on potentially not going out in qualifying at all and setting no, and then starting from the back and avoiding carnage. But obviously he's changed his mind on that because he's currently in 3rd.
So a few of the drivers here actually going out on the inters, or mainly all the field here at the moment. It's an interesting ploy.
Yeah.
Being that the tyres will be slower, maybe... Is the race wet? Oh, and Mitchy's just hit the wall.
Mitchy's just gone.
I was on board with that as well.
I don't think they'll get nearer 15, but like Penske, he might be, or even Ben, possibly if you get a really good lap in on the inters, they could be like possibilities in terms of being able to beat them. So that'll be what people will be trying to do, trying to get those lap times.
As far as I'm aware, though, the Inter is normally about 8 seconds or so a lap slower than the dry tyres.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. So in
don't
terms
forget,
of gaining,
a good qualifying lap around here, I believe, is in the 13s.
yeah.
So
obviously because the track was slightly damp, they're little bit slower at the start, but
yeah.
those dry tyres should stay. So.
And then as well, don't forget that this is a very short lap, so generally there's a little bit less time lost due to the length of the lap. Yeah. As Conrad gets it completely and utterly wrong, he just has a massive slide coming through the end of Sector 1. Talk about the save though. Didn't end up spinning at all, just slid it and, yeah, saved it just.
So, there's one person I want to point out here, and that is Mr. Penske, who just runs wide at the exit of turn 2. He has been practicing very hard, and he's actually not using any traction control. So, I must say well done to him, but again, these wet conditions will be very tricky for him.
Very hard for him.
So, he'll be just trying...
I mean... If anyone saw AOR Spain on Sunday night, everyone would have seen my struggles in the wet, and I've been using, I've had traction off for ages, so just starting out's not going to be easy, as he cuts the corner.
Just slightly. But yeah, I mean, he's got that dry lap in, so he doesn't have to worry too much about trying to put a lap in, but he's done very well to...
I'm not sure. I think you're right about I think you're right about the lap times because Jetson's only managed a 21.0. It looks like he has gone for another lap, but he's only managed a 21.0. So
yeah, see the especially when it's like this, you have to have gone out straight away, which is what those guys did, and you've got to push to get that lap time in. Because you can't afford to get caught out, and that's what's happened to Ben pretty much at the moment. He's just slightly laid out. He's been caught out by the conditions, and currently only starting 8th.
2K, whatever. I don't know what to call him anymore. Yeah, both of those guys have just set 23s. So yeah, it doesn't look like the track conditions are any good. As there's someone off in the first sector, which has been cleared up now.
Yeah, I was just
looks like it was a Williams, so... Yeah. looks like it's Penske. Because he has front wing damage, and as I was scrolling through, I did see front wing on the ground, so...
Yep. So, under 2 minutes left, and most of the field are out on the inters, except for New Zealand Ryan. He's banked his lap and he's not continuing.
And Conrod Straight looks to have pulled over to the side of the track, probably to retire. Oh no, he's just letting other cars pass.
Jetson's retired, and now Conrad has retired. So
yeah,
again, that
I think we'll start seeing people retiring now.
It's an interesting grid, that's for sure. Neon is up there, and from all reports, has had a pretty good round last week at Spain. Did pretty well, so he's up there. Roscoe is a surprise packet as well in the McLaren. He's in 4th. Mitchell will start in 5th, and
These conditions produce very interesting racing and very interesting grids. So a couple of the faster guys have been caught out here. Jetson, for example, is down in 11th. Tim at Murdoch, he's in 8th, which is a season low for him. I don't think he's qualified outside of the top 5 all season, so I'm likely to be wrong there though. Zombie Hunter down in 14th.
He has qualified in the top 5 as far as I'm aware all season. So, and that's one of the things, and that's like, we know Jetson's a good driver as well, but his qualifying really lets him down. If he qualifies better, and he can do, he will get that. He'll get some. Well, he'll get that gain.
A reward for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He'll get that gain in the race, and starting from 11th now, as his teammates actually pipped him for 10th. It's not where you need to be. You get caught up in incidents.
Speaking of his teammate, big slide as he improves his lap coming through to finish it. I think he improved by 0.5 of a second, so not too bad. If there'd been another couple of laps, possibly, it might have been. Oh, he's just hit the back of a slow-moving Toro Rosso. But yeah, if it was at all possible to do a couple more laps, those times could have challenged Penske for P9. So,
Warden is just doing a few extra laps at the end of the session. Now, I actually had another little weather report from New Zealand Ryan, and he states there's potential rain at the end of the race. So maybe that's why these guys are, well, especially Warren, is just doing a little bit of running on the inters just to see what the setup is like.
As we speak of that, he's having a bit of fun on the main straight.
Yeah, he's just being a bit of a dag, a bit of a silly sausage. So just going to update the point standings for you. It's 15 points between the two teammates. So Ryan has pole.
Oh, Jetson's got a 5-place grid penalty.
That was contact between someone. Now, it come up with 0 positions in the actual qualifying. I've seen the notification, but it's a 5-place. So he will start at the back again. So, yes, Neon has 3rd. The two teammates are at the front row. Roscoe, Michi, Poms, H.O., Tim at Marduk in 8th, Penske 9th, Jared 10th. And, not where the Ferrari wants to be, but yes, the points.
No.
15 separates the two teammates. Benny is 3rd, 18 points behind, and it's a bit of a gap back to Jetson and the Mercedes. He's 45 points behind ahead of his teammate, who is 77 points behind. So from there on, it's pretty tight all the way down into the guys who have had some lackluster results. People like Owens, who's been away a few times, but people like Mitchie and Conrad and next to Donut, who've just had a few lackluster results. Yeah.
Haven't shown, I should say, what they're truly capable of yet. As we get the first person to ready up, which was Poms for the win, so anyone who was trying to get a setup on but doesn't, not so much a setup, but strategy's going, blame Poms.
Why am I in a car? I've got a weird camera angle here. I'm actually in a driving. I've got driving cameras at the moment, so I don't know what's going on there. That's on board with Jared. I don't know why.
Interesting.
There we go. Let's fix that. So the formation lap commences. So again, probably we'll see the one stop again, but with potential.
We've got Warden skipping through the track there. Whether that's to avoid tyre wear or what, I don't know.
With potential rain at the end of the race, could be interesting to see what strategies the guys outside the 10 use. I know we've got. I'm just going to go through them. Toucan is on the softs. Matt is on the softs. Zombie is on the softs. Conrod's on the softs, and Jetson is on the softs as well. So
pretty consistent. Those guys that qualified, or the top 9, they have to start on the tyres they set their lap on, which is mostly ultra softs, because they set their times in dry conditions. So,
and interestingly,
obviously
something we sorry.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, obviously the rules state that if you set your time on dry tyres in qualifying, then
you have to start on them. Yeah,
are required to start on those tyres. So,
interestingly, something we didn't pick up, that I personally didn't pick up, was actually Mr. Tam Martic qualified on the supers. So he's on a differing strategy.
That, but I didn't say anything. Yeah. I think he's the only one starting on super softs as well. So I could and am probably likely to be wrong. But it will just appear to me that nobody else is starting on the supers.
Oh, we'll get the 5 lights going and we'll wait.
One of the Mercedes is ghosted, so
it's lights out, long wait, and away we go.
Got a lot of wheel spin there for Ryan, but he's got the beneficial line. But it looks like Warden's going to go red. Oh, Willie.
There was contact between H-Show and Mitchie, turn 1. Sorry, and actually... Oh, there's someone in the fence.
Someone's gone. There's a Mercedes.
Jared.
Jared
was turned into the fence.
Jared
was turned into the fence. I didn't see who did it, but he was turned in. Penske's trying to make a move.
H.O.'s got front wing damage and has just turned in on Zombie Hunter, so who has now just lost a place to Matt. So this
Jetson is looking at 9. There was contact between him and Toucan, and he's lost a few paces.
Marduk's just gone for a move down the inside of Poms for the win, but Poms sticks it around the outside, just touches the wall, but manages to keep the position.
On the grippy line there.
As H.O.'s just dropped to 14th. And there's been chaos at the hairpin further back with Jetson involved. H.O. and I think Zombie Hunter might have been involved as well, because he's dropped a couple of places.
Hectic first lap. I had someone out already at the second corner. Ben is looking outside of Poms. Can he make it stick? He's trying to stay in there.
Oh,
Poms
he's
closing
put it
the
down
door.
the inside, and there's a little bit of contact. Wheel to side pod, but Ben's finally got the move done.
Good racing from those two. Poms gave a bit of room on the apex of turn 2, so good job from those guys. Ben is pushing. Warden has the lead over his teammate off the start. This is going to be an interesting race.
Oh, Roscoe just touches that wall on the outside there. He won't want to do that too much. It's getting a bit close for comfort.
Going to be an interesting race for the two teammates out front. How are they going to manage their pace? Neon's running strongly in third. Could possibly be under attack from Roscoe this lap. Roscoe looked like he's got pretty good pace in these early laps. And look who's looming up behind them in the Ferrari. It is Ben. He's on the charge.
It's Mr. Move Forward King at the moment. So if you look at our biggest movers and shakers, obviously Tim Marduk, Ben, he's moved forward 3 positions from his starting position of 8th. overtaking, by the looks of things, Poms, Mitchie, and Penske, who are holding their own. Why does it say one next to Penske? I don't know what's going on with this, but it's going crazy. And obviously our biggest losers, HO, who got involved in first lap contact, and Jared, who is now out of the race. The
biggest winner could have been Jetson, but a bit of contact and it didn't turn out the way we want. But up the front, these two are going hammer and tong. There's about half a second in it, a couple of car lengths, but they're pushing on and they're pulling a gap pretty easily.
And now we've got DRS as well, so Ryan will be using this to try to get past Warden. And if I'm not mistaken, Force India have won every single race so far this season.
Yes.
They'll be hoping not to get into conflict like Perez and Ocon in the actual F1 2017 Canadian Grand Prix, as that cost them valuable points in the championship.
Yeah, I don't think those two will be that silly.
No, these two are good friends, and they seem to let the other pass if the other's got more pace. So they'll work together.
They've pulled a good sized gap over third, and Ross goes hanging on to the back of Neon. He's not letting him disappear, and Ben, stuck in the dirty air, won't be liking this. But he is on the different tyre, so he's on the different strategy, hoping to run longer.
Obviously, Poms is just holding on thanks to the battling and dirty air ahead as well. So Ben still not quite dropping Poms.
Well, Ben didn't have DRS there, so a bit of a gain.
Oh, Roscoe's already got a 3-second time penalty. That didn't take long. Zombie as we were busy up the front, as Ryan gets very close to Warden on the 2/10.
Well, I was just about to say Ryan's applying the blowtorch. He just set the fastest lap of the race, so he's on a flyer, and the gap's been pulled ever tighter. So it looks like Ryan wants to go 4 in a row here, and his teammates currently in the way of that objective.
Meanwhile, Iron Toucan and Zombie Hunter as well are having their own battle further back. Back to the front. Warden's just pulled a little bit on New Zealand Ryan. It would seem that Warden's might have slightly more downforce on his car for that back section, where Ryan might have slightly less downforce trying to get the advantage on the straights. Two different philosophies, but working very well for both drivers here at the moment.
And Penske's running strongly in the 10, so it's going to be a good shot from him by the looks of it. There's not too much happening down the back of the grid, but for the moment...
Okay, so I've just got a chat from Jared on the stream. He says that Mitchie was lagging really bad at the exit of turn 2. He ghosted into Jared, and Jared, because of that, got slammed into Acho, as Ben gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, or track extending.
Multiple warnings. He's pushing onto the back of the McLaren, visibly close up, and should be within range down the back as Ryan gets a penalty.
Oh, wow. I knew the penalties would be a problem here, but I didn't think that'd be this much of a talking factor this early on.
Well, lap 6, and Ryan already has a penalty. I don't think Warden has one, so that is a game changer there.
This is
Ben on the McLaren looking. You know, I did say he was going to get close. And
I think Roscoe is just getting slightly better exits out of. I think he's just getting slightly better exits just out of the corners in general, but especially onto that main straight.
He's just
Just
fallen
keep
off.
himself out of trouble there.
He's just slightly fallen off the back of Neon though. He's starting to feel the pressure. Probably the tyres just starting to fall off the cliff. Starting to fade away. Ben on those longer lasting super softs. Really pushing his advantage right now.
A bit of a ding dong battle. As Matt has also ranged onto the back of Zombie Hunter, who's all over the back of Iron Toucan. As Ben once again is right on the back of Roscoe as well, so didn't take him long to gain that back. Maybe that's again the same thing where Roscoe might be running slightly lower wings compared to Ben's, so he gets a little bit more of an advantage on the straight.
Passing at the moment looks like it's a bit of an issue. It looks like a few people having some difficulty with trying to make a move.
They're close at the lead, and Zombie Hunter will be looking to make a move on Iron Toucan. Maybe, no, he's just backing off there. As Roscoe gets another time penalty, just backing off into the chicane, and Zombie Hunter will have another look down into turn one, but it's just, the gap's just too much at the moment, and he'll duck back in and try again next lap.
Well, Ben is all over the McLaren here for fourth as Roscoe runs wide.
Roscoe gets a bit sideways, and Neon's gone round!
What has happened there? I think that might have been a little
just
clip of the
sideways
grass.
On that curb on the inside, and that's just buggered him up.
Yeah,
he will not be happy with himself there, because that's cost him 3 positions.
AstroTurf on the exit just behind the curb can give you a bit of issue. So Ben got past the McLaren and into third. With all of that shenaniganry. No, he got past just after that corner, because Roscoe was wide with massive amounts of wheel spin on the exit of the corner, and Ben...
Zombie Hunter and Matt have both managed to get past Iron Toucan at the exact same time.
So Neon's pitting.
And now they're all slipstreaming each other.
So Neon
Matt's
is going
down
for the
the inside
undercut.
of Zombie Hunter into the chicane, and he's made it stick, but he's got a slightly poor exit.
To be on again down at turn one. He's got enough of an overlap.
On, indeed. Oh, we're missing a battle for the lead here. Side by side through the sector. Ryan's hit the wall. I don't know if that's done any damage at all, but he's just tapped the wall on the inside at the exit there of the... What corner is it? I'll think of it. That's... I will think of it. That's turn 6. That's the one. Turn 6.
Matt just lost about 3 positions there. So Zombie got past the exit of turn 2, and then I think he just got fed into the wall by Toucan, possibly accidentally. I'm not too sure. Bit of wheel spin moment, but he's lost 2 positions out of that instead of the 1. So it's not a good result there for the other McLaren driver.
Jetson's got a penalty. Mr. Avoid the curbs at all costs has just got himself a penalty. That is very much unlike Jetson.
HO is catching onto the back of him as well here. On that super
and
soft.
Mitchie having a bit of a battle, though Penske's managed to get past Mitchie now quite convincingly. So
Penske's doing a really good job here at the moment. Both Williams are in 5th and 6th. So, but Ben's just cleared out from Roscoe here, but he's still 4 seconds behind the leaders, and they are still going at it, hammer and tong, the teammates. No inch is being spared here. Ryan gets a really good run out of the second chicane.
Ryan will be looking for the inside, but Warden defends that well. Ryan goes for the outside.
Warden covered hard.
Just outbrakes himself, but manages to get the wide apex, gets the exit, and it would appear that Ryan has got Warden, though Warden might have slightly lower wing settings because he's managing to hold his own even with the DRS.
He lets it go.
Side by side. Very smart playing by both guys there. Now Ryan and Warden, they'll just continue to pull each other along and hopefully get away from Ben, who has caught significantly in that final sector.
Yeah, caught half a second with the battling down at the hairpin. So good going from these two.
It would appear that there is a it would appear that there is a lot of sliding going on with both of these guys, so whether that's
Warden brushes the wall
what
there.
they want, or
They're just
very close to where
going
Sebastian
at it.
Vettel... Was that where Sebastian Vettel crashed? I think it was 2011?
He had a bit of a moment there, yes, back in 2011. But these two are, well, from what I'm witnessing, they're very reminiscent of the 2014 Mercedes. They're just at each other, hammer and tong, not giving an inch.
They'll be hoping for not to have brake issues like the Mercs had back in 2014.
I don't think that'll happen.
The Aussie Daniel Ricciardo, his first victory in Formula 1, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was his first victory.
I don't think it's going to happen today, though.
Is that a speck of... Just starting to get some little bits of rain now, so...
A bit of drizzle.
Just see it coming on the camera lens.
We're nearly halfway through. So maybe that rain is just going to start to drizzle and then maybe get a bit harder at the end.
I've missed this. Warden's actually lost a little his right end plate.
I think that might have been, he did brush the wall right there as we just passed.
Yeah.
But he did brush the wall there, so maybe that's where he lost it.
Yeah. Tell you what, 6th, 7th and 8th right now, it's on. Penske's
Ben is actually... Ben is closing the gap here, just under 3 seconds to Warden. So maybe those
as Mitchie gets
really
another 3-second time penalty. Neon Treedome with a 3-second time penalty. Conrad Strait and Jetson with another time penalty as well. Gosh.
Poms is
unlike, especially Jetson,
slowly catching Roscoe, and Zombie's just going down the inside, nearly, not quite. The second chicane of Penske. So Penske's really under pressure here on those ultras.
And Zombie got a time penalty for that as well, so...
Possibly the no traction has just burned up the tyres a little bit more than he would have liked. But as you can see, the traction out of the corner is really hurting. He just can't get the traction down and get that exit that's needed.
Though I think he's also running low wing because Zombie Hunter couldn't go anywhere near him with the DRS, but he's got him this time for sure.
Oh, he nearly fed him into the fence.
Close to the wall.
He nearly fed him into the fence. Zombie's got an overlap, can't get it done. Look for the switchback. Penske's very taily there. He's gone.
And he's got him.
It's gone. He's just.
Unless Penske makes one of his Penske dive bombs, his Zombie's well and truly safe.
I think he just bit the pill there, Penske, and has just given up on that battle because the traction loss was so great. You could see it. Roscoe's actually left the session. Possible lag out, and Poms has taken that position.
That's a shame for him because he was in a brilliant position. Let's see if I have the ability to invite him back, if I can find him. No, I can't find him. There he is. Invite to game. No, I don't have the option to invite him to game, unfortunately for him. They're all pitting, so I'd say it's Inter's time. We've got Warden's coming to the pits, and Roscoe's AI has come into the pits. The Toro Rossos are going at it. Hammer and tong. There's contact. Conrad Strait gets the position, but also loses a little bit of his front wing. Oh. Got a lag at. Oh, we've got Iron Toucan spun out on the exit of turn 4. Not what he would have wanted, indeed. Just got forced out wide and wasn't able to pick it back up. Unfortunately for him. Tim at Murdoch's right on the back and is actually by New Zealand Ryan. New Zealand Ryan goes into the pits. So New Zealand Ryan must have had a big moment because Ben was right on his tail there.
I'm back.
Warden's
I seem to...
struggling there.
I seem to have been kicked from the lobby by a connection, possibly due to Roscoe leaving. Not sure why, but
Neon Treedome's got himself back up to 5th with all the pit stops. So, as in Sector 1, there has been an incident.
so it's starting.
I'm not sure yet. Can't see anything, so...
It is starting to rain now,
Yes.
as we can see.
I can't see anything happening in
So the Force
the
Indians.
pits or anywhere, so...
There's a bit of an incident with a gaggle of 4 cars here. Some are on dries, some are, I think they're all, the only one on the wets is Warden. He's just holding them up just for 7th. So
Yeah,
by the looks of it, Warden's double stacked to get onto those inters.
No, Warden actually pitted first.
Oh,
so
really?
obviously the dries still have a slight advantage.
Yeah, just
So
pitted
Conrad has
slightly
lost
early.
a bit of his front wing on Warden there, so...
Yeah, it was a
He
massive,
tries to defend his position from Matt.
bottle off out of the corner. So
He was also lost a lot of front wings, so... Down this end of the field, there is a lot of front wing loss.
Oh,
amongst these
Ryan.
guys, as New Zealand Ryan gets another penalty.
Ryan just couldn't get the car turned in for the chicane. So Ben
Problems
is
for the
still
wing pits for inters.
chuffing along out in front.
At the moment, it's a Ferrari 1-2.
The gap is 24 seconds over the effective leader, Ryan, because he's pitted. So
I don't think it'd take that. I reckon Ben might get out in front of Ryan if there's.
well,
a
that's
pit
the thing.
stop.
He's trying to maximise his advantage while he can. I mean, the track is
Yeah,
probably only just sort of now getting damp enough.
getting anywhere near.
And the question
I'll just
is
compare
when
Warden, who is struggling for grip, and he's not getting anywhere compared to the likes of Matt, Poms, and Jetson.
Ben's
They're
not
all
pitting.
going much quicker than him at the moment.
Ben's
and I
not
don't
pitting.
blame him. I wouldn't. If I'd seen how these guys are going, I wouldn't be pitting either, because Warden's not really doing well to keep up with Matt and Poms at the moment.
Yeah,
so
the gap's actually extended. So
that being
maybe
said, Poms is also on inters and just got overtook by Matt. So
maybe their tyres were just that fried at the end of this stint that they had to take the gamble for inters. That's an interesting call, but it's Ferrari 1 and 2 at the moment. 20-second gap
and
between
Zombie
the
Hunter
teammates.
seems to have the edge over Ben at the moment. So
Well, those supers will be coming to the end of their life soon. That's why the gap is just
speeding in pit
slightly.
lane for Ryan Toucan.
So
Are you
Ryan
back
just
in the session?
yeah. Ryan is just very gingerly driving around.
You're just trying to make sure he doesn't use up all those inters.
Well, I think the gap the gap has gone out massively between him and Ben at the front. 27.5 seconds, so it should be easily enough time for Ben to pit and come out in front.
As Ben comes into the pits,
Here we
as
go.
we speak, so
This is the time. Can he make the gap work? He's had a bit of luck. The other guys have gone slightly early. Ben is out, and Ryan's not even at the last chicane. Only just now. So that's a massive gain for Ben.
and he's gone for ultras.
Who? Ben?
I don't know whether that's a mistake, but Ben's gone for ultras.
No, Ben's on inters on my
Zombie
screen.
Hunters also pits and has gone for inters. Oh.
Ben is on inters on my screen. Yeah, you'll get that graphical glitch every now and then, but he's definitely on the inters.
Yeah, it says inters on the screen, so I've got that glitch again.
Yeah.
Had this glitch before a few times.
It can happen a few times. So Neon is still out on the dry tyres. So a big win for Ben here. He's used that track position on those tyres and just pushed the stint a little bit longer than the guys who were ahead of him, and he's gained out of it. Now he's just got to manage those tyres.
Leon's going to go back to around 8th here at the moment if these tyres, if he's unable to make more time on these tyres, which it looks like he's pretty much not able to do now. HO's coming to the pits after what's been a pretty unfortunate race for him.
Well, he should end
6
up
seconds
in about
off of Roscoe, who's still an AI, so that's a poor thing for him as well, because he was in a brilliant position. He was up fighting with the leaders, so
he won't get classified with that, I don't think either. So HO's actually gone a lap down.
Massive shame for him.
After all the pit stops, Jetson and Penske are still on dry tyres, and Penske's actually pitted.
DRS disabled. If you're not on wet tyres yet, you've got to come in.
Well, Penske's gonna have to take an extra stop, so this is not gonna work well for him. I think the big winner out of these pit stops has been Ben.
Ben,
definitely. So at current mass,
Ben and Zombie Hunter, they're the big winners out of this because they've both jumped up a heap of positions.
Yeah, definitely. At my reckoning here, from my current mass, Neon pits, he will probably come back out in 7th, and Jetson will probably maybe come out in 8th or 9th, somewhere around there, possibly.
Yeah. Just have a look at the gaps.
But he's really, you can just see now that Jetson's
he'll come around. Yeah. Oh, Neon's got a 5-second stop-go penalty.
Well, that is just unfortunate. Pushing too hard into the pit entry can happen here.
Yeah, you've got to take it
easy to do.
So easy in these conditions.
And yeah, Jetson's coming in.
And Jetson pits as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Penske coming to the pits as well. So.
Well, he should do if he continues. He's continuing.
Oh, he's continuing. So he's made a brave call here. Maybe he's got a message that the rain ends shortly. I'm not sure whether that's the case.
Possibly,
but there does look to be a little bit of blue sky around. There's
and
few patches of blue in the sky.
He can probably find the grip offline, the karting line as it is, where all that rubber goes. He could possibly get the grip there. I mean, I'm not sure. That's probably for the wet tyres, but he's got to keep within the dry line.
Jetson's already pulled a 2 seconds on him, so.
So maybe a little bit of an interesting strategy call, but we'll see if it works out for him. It is only drizzling.
But I think this is going to be like Bathurst last year, where the start, I can tell you because I was there, the rain was not heavy. It was just that it was constant. It didn't go away.
Yeah. 12
that's
second.
The only thing that kept it there.
12-second gap between Ben and New Zealand Ryan, championship rivals.
13.8 seconds it's out to now. 14 seconds pretty much.
A massive gain. Ferrari have made a really good call on the strategy. Partly helped by...
For both of their cars.
Partly helped by his qualifying tyre as well. Not qualifying on the Ultra. So...
Both Ferraris, starting on the harder tyres, have
Penske's pitting now.
Massively.
And
they've gone from being 8th and 14th on the grid to being 1st and 3rd in the race. So
Penske's lost a lot of positions here with that late call. Unfortunately. For him, he'll probably have fresher tyres. So that will help.
Though they're not fresh they're only fresh by a few laps.
But again, the
so
challenge
for some of these guys,
him,
they've been on their tyres for 6 or 7 laps.
Again,
it's still showing Ben on the Ultras for me. So
no, he's on the Inters.
Stupid game.
But the challenge for Penske will be managing the no traction in the wet. So we'll have to watch with interest to see how he goes. Whether he can push his way back into the 10.
So I'll go back to my movers and shakers list. So obviously Ben, as Neon gets a penalty. Ben, he's obviously gained 7 positions. New Zealand Ryan lost 1. Zombie up 10. It's good for him. Both Force Indians have lost positions with Warden down 2. Neon and Mitchie have both lost 3. Jetson's up 8. Conrod's up 4 and Matt's up 3. Penske's lost 3, Ho's lost 6, and Roscoe, with his unfortunate disconnection, has lost 10 places.
Yeah, so again, the big winners there, definitely Jetson and Ben.
Jetson, Ben and Zombie.
Oh,
Zombie
indeed.
with 10
Well,
places, so.
Zombie's ahead of Water now, so obviously Zombie feeling pretty good in the wet conditions.
So Warden is slightly faster. And he's making a move down the inside as we speak. So
back. Zombie couldn't get around for the crisscross. So those two are going to be pretty close together, I think.
I think Warden's just got to start pulling away now. So
Ben's got a very commanding lead. Over
and it's getting ever bigger. So maybe Ryan just not quite in tune with these conditions compared to what he was in qualifying, even though qualifying was he's set on dry tyres.
He's probably running a slightly drier setup. Now, of course, the only thing you can do in the race is change your brake balance and make a few little changes to diff settings, and that's probably as much as you can do. Obviously, before you race in the setup, you'd be changing anti-roll bars and suspension and that sort of thing. So you're just going to have to make do and see what he can do with it. Penske gets some penalties.
Actually, I can't remember people's penalties, so I'll go and have a look at the penalties here.
I can have a look because you're streaming, so...
Yeah, alright, if you want to have a look.
So...
Because Matt gets a time penalty as well.
There is a lot of penalties. I can see just scrolling down this list. So, Matt, Penske, Neon, the Poms, Toucan, Mitchie, and Jetson. Ryan, of course, has that penalty. Conrad has a penalty. Zombie has a penalty. So pretty much everyone, say down the field, apart from I think Warden and Ben don't have penalties.
I've seen both their names come up for penalties.
Okay, yes, Ben does. Yes, Ben has a penalty, but I don't think Warden has one. I haven't seen Warden. Warden's not on the list.
I'm not sure if I've seen Warden. No, don't think I've New Zealand Ryan I've seen.
A lot of those drivers have multiple penalties.
Wow, I hate this game with its stupid lock-up streams. Or in spectator cam. Neon's all over the back of Poms here. Neon's had a good fight back considering his spin early on. He's done a good job to come back to 6th here. He was, I think, as far down as 12th or 13th.
It won't be the result he was after though, because if you think about it, he was in the right position to gain, especially from what we've seen in the pit stops and what transpired with being able to run longer. So
absolutely,
I would have liked to see if he could have run longer or not. Of course,
I reckon he would have been. He'd be up there, fighting for 3rd or 4th at the moment. So, got to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sometimes the way
is gaining a little bit on Zombie Hunter. So
sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just racing, really.
Neon really taily coming through to the end of the first sector there. He lost a little bit on the back of Poms. Warden's actually pulled away from Zombie. So he's consolidating third, and Ryan is pretty much consolidating second. And Benny.
Ryan's gained a couple of seconds on Ben in the last few laps though, so...
I think Ben's just trying to settle down. 10 laps left. Have a good run, don't make a mistake.
So he's just going to take it easy. He's just going to keep that gap where he
Ward's actually pitting. Ward's pitting.
Oh wow!
He
hasn't got front wing
damage. This is for another set of wet tyres. And Pomps is coming in as well.
He got a penalty for entering the pits too quick, and Neon got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting as we speak. So Zombie's back up to third. Jetson's gained 10 positions now, or 9 because Warden's just got back past him on pit exit.
That's an interesting.
Mitch's got a time penalty.
That's a weird strategy call. I don't quite understand that one. The Inter should last until the end of the race.
Why?
Maybe they don't.
Remember they were the first to pit. They were the first two to pit. They've probably worn their Inters out while the track was still too dry.
Yeah, possibly the
Tyres
Inters
have overheated and
don't get to the end. Maybe the tyres don't get to the end. We'll have to see what the other guys do. Ben is probably the best placed out of all of them.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what Ryan does here. Is he pitting? We'll have to wait and see. He's
Ryan
staying out.
Another early one.
So maybe Warden just cooked his tyres. Zombie currently on the podium, in the podium position of third. So this is looking like a good result here for Ferrari. He's done a good job on the strategy. Neon is up to fourth. And Warden is, of course, in fifth, and he will be going to try and chase him down.
I'll just have a look when everyone pitted.
So Penske's on another penalty.
Pitted on lap 17, where Ryan stopped lap 14.
Yes, 4 laps difference. And Mitchie's entered the pits.
Where Neon was pitted lap 19, so he's pitted later again. So
this is very interesting.
Jetson as well on lap 19, so all the guys up the Warden's the earliest to stop out of the top 4. Warden, there's a time penalty for Warden. So now I believe everyone with a time penalty or some sort of penalty.
It would seem to be that
New
way.
Zealand Ryan gets another time penalty.
Another. They're throwing this race
HO
away
gets a
at the
time penalty.
moment. I think Ben is well placed. I think he's only got the one, but again, we'll have to see at the end of the race. That's the only way we'll get a true picture of what's happening.
So he gets an awful line through turns 6 and 7 there. I keep going to say on the ultra soft tyres because it shows him on the ultra soft tyres.
Yeah, just let's look at what he's got on the screen, on the actual car. Everyone is running that into. There's no way you'd be able to run around on a dry tyre at this stage.
Way. Not in these conditions. Warden's ranging in very quickly onto Neon Tree Domes, so whether Neon will be able to hold him back, I'm not sure. Jetson once again proven that he's good at these comeback drives, being last place for a while there, or basically last place.
He seems to race better almost from the back of the grid, but he shouldn't be down there. He really shouldn't be qualifying back of the grid. You can't, if you want to consistently score points and try and get on the podium, you can't be starting from the back of the grid.
I mean, look at Craig Lowndes. He's another example of that. He's struggled a lot for qualifying pace and it's hurt him in the race. I mean, last year he overtook more cars across all the races than anyone, And this year he's pretty much done the same thing. So far this season, Craig Lowndes, 54 overtakes, zero positions lost. So, oh, Warden just taps the wall right on the back of Neon Trito.
No wing damage. Neon's had a little bit of a moment, a little bit of a swapper. His tyres just being a little bit older.
Warden's gone to the outside.
He's let the position go. He let the position go.
No point fighting and risking spinning out. So.
Yeah, well, especially if he's got less grip than which he would have on older tyres. So if you're going to be, Warden's got 5 seconds to Zombie in front. He's got 5 laps. He's going to need to pull a second a lap here. See what he can do. So I think he might be able to do it. Zombie's just exited the chicane on the front straight. So that's the gap, visual gap, and he's very close, Warden. So we'll have to watch that one with interest. But 10 seconds between the leader and New Zealand Ryan in second place. Ben has worked the strategy very well, so he'll be pleased with this. At this stage, it'll be first race win for him this season in SRL.
Mitch is gaining on Conrad. So Conrad's in for another real good performance as he comes into the pits. Taking it very easy into the pits, not wanting to get himself a penalty.
He's going to lose that points paying position to Penske. I think it's a bit late for that.
Because he's had a pretty good race.
Oh, I think it's a bit late for that strategy. He's actually going out on the dries. What's happened there? I think that might be a little bit of a mistake there. He's going out on the ultras.
Because it doesn't appear to be a dry line.
Well, it stopped
raining.
raining.
It did stop quite easily.
It stopped raining.
So maybe it is the right call. I'll just keep an eye on him here.
We'll have to keep.
No, he's sliding too much there.
It's probably a little bit early for the dries, but it is a good call. There's still a sort of a dry line. It'll be greasy.
Yeah.
But it's probably just not quite there yet. So he's anticipating the conditions. So we'll see. He might get a bit drier in the last few laps, and he might be able to make up some positions. So we'll see how that goes. Pom's is actually in as well.
That ground.
Pom's they're going for dries. They're going for dries at the moment.
And HO as well's gone for the dries.
So this is interesting. So some strategy spice at the end of this race.
Conrad's lost a couple of seconds, but he's not losing as much time now as he was at the start of the lap, and everyone's starting to call it now. Matt's called it. Toucan's called it.
Pom's actually stopped for the 5-second stop go there as well. So we'll have to watch the leaders with interest. Warner's actually caught up considerably to Zombie. It's half a second, or 1.5 seconds, sorry, is the gap. What are these guys going to do here?
Just easily made it past Matt, so... Though, with the dries, it might be a case of if you can get temperature into them, they might be alright.
That's the thing, getting temperature into the tyre.
New Zealand Ryan's gone for ultras.
Ooh.
This is a bold call.
You've got to be able to get temperature.
To slide it.
You've got to be able to get.
Just slid it round turn 2.
You've got to be able to get temperature in on a wet, greasy track with the line greasy, not hit any of the walls. It's a tough ask. So, what is Ben going to do? Just coming around the hairpin. The gap back to Ryan is 27 seconds. So if he pits now, he'll still come out ahead. But how
he'd be stupid though, because if he were to pit, he'd basically give up the lead. I mean, if it really is quicker to be on the dries, then he may as well pit. But he's got a 22-second lead. What's the point, honestly?
Yeah, that's
even if the track goes completely dry, he's not going to lose that lead in the time that's left. So
yeah, you've got two laps left, and the battle for third is on, which is now second actually.
I think
So
New Zealand
these-
Ryan's just shot himself in the foot.
They're both pitting,
Oh!
and he's overtaken to the pit lane.
What a cheeky overtake!
Well, he's done the overtaking to the pit lane. You can do that. They're both going for the dry
if Ferrari
tyres.
gets a slightly quicker pit stop, oh, he's just been held. And Borden's come out in front. I was going to say if Ferrari can get a slightly quicker pit stop, they might just get ahead.
He was caught napping there. And Ward's actually gone onto the supers. So that is an
Strange
interesting
choice.
call.
Though I don't
That'll
think
be
there's
harder.
much of a delta
That'll-
between them.
They'll be harder to get the tyre temp into, though, being they're a slightly harder compound.
Poms gets a time penalty for corner cutting. Interesting.
28.5 seconds is the gap from first to second with 2 laps to go.
If you're Ben, you wouldn't risk it. You'd stay out on the...
Yeah,
Inters, even
well,
if
that's
they're
right.
hurting
There's
and
still
the track's
enough of
dry.
a wettish track. As you can see, it's along the front straight there. It's actually drying out pretty quickly.
But DRS hasn't been called, so
No, that's right. So it's still
means it might be crossover, but
it's
not
still a wet
optimal
track.
conditions.
But yeah, it's not optimal. So the Neon's into third effective at the moment.
Just trying to work out who's the... Is that a Williams? Yeah, that's... Oh no, that's the Toro Rosso of Iron
So
Toucan on the back of Neon. So
I can't believe that, especially Zombie, who would have had his best finish so far of a second, it would have been, but he's pitted. He didn't have to pit.
yeah, he had no
And
reason
anyway,
to
that-
pit. He
that
would have been
is-
a few seconds ahead of New Zealand Ryan,
That
and New
is an
Zealand
int-
Ryan's not catching, so...
That is an interesting call. Jetson's staying
Yeah.
in on the inters as well. Slowly catching Neon.
Though Warden now is catching Jetson, so... Whether it's
Yeah.
enough, I don't know, but...
The dry tyres will just start. The gap at the front is
Kicking
still
in now.
28.6. It's still a big gap.
Though it's starting to... Looks like it's starting to come down slightly as Poms gets another penalty. He's going around... He's just gone around the outside of Mitchie, so... Mitchie's stuck to the inters. As has Penske, who's in 9th. With Matt all over the back of him.
So there's no spray
Warden's,
coming off.
Warden's right on the back of... Well, he's only 1.2 seconds behind Jetson, so Jetson's going to have to do some heroics here if he wants to stay ahead, I think.
1 lap.
All this
to
back
go.
marker. Iron Toucan's going to have to get in the way of Warden. They're the only ways that Warden's going to not get past Jetson.
Well, the gap's not going to come down
Leon,
enough.
I think, has got just enough of a gap. It's only 9/10 of a second between Warden and Jetson, so...
Gap at the front, though. Ben is just
No.
tiptoeing around on those inters.
That's all he needs to do.
He's done a very
Iron
good
Toucan
job.
gets a stop-go for ignoring blue flags, but no point now, it's final lap. What is this? There's 3 cars going for the same corner.
That's the back
Warden
marker.
around the outside of Jetson and just driving, just blowing him away out of the corner.
The Zombie should be able to get
That's
Jetson
allowed
here as
Zombie
well.
to gain.
The back marker's really getting in the way. Look at
There's
the grip out of the
little bit of
corner
contact.
from Zombie. He's going to have the inside
He's
line
just
for the
got
hairpin.
so much more grip.
Dry's really
he's got
starting to
him.
come into their own, but too little, too late. Ben has won the Grand Prix,
And
won the race, and he's
quite
done a very good
comfortably.
job.
Brilliant race by
Mastered.
Ben. He's demolished the opposition. A
Mastered
brilliant
the
strategy call by Ferrari there, or by him, more
Well,
so.
one of the only times that Ferrari could really get their strategy correct.
New Zealand Ryan comes for second, 29 seconds behind.
And Warden
third, Zombie Hunter
Warden-
fourth,
Warden
Neon
snags
fifth,
third on penalty.
Jetson sixth. Yes. Neon unfortunately had a few penalties there, and was right on it with fuel as well, so... Poms for the win, looks to come home in 7th. Strong result for him.
And it's a double points finish for Williams as well.
Yes. That's given that Penske doesn't lose. Penske's not going to lose 18 seconds of time penalties, I wouldn't imagine. As Mitchie comes home in 8th, but gives the position to Matt on penalties. And I think that was I think Penske safely got 10th. So we'll have a look in a second at the results when they load. And look at the podium. We've got obviously Ben finally winning his first race of the season after a very consistent start to the championship with 4 seconds, a third, and now finally that much wanted and needed victory for himself and Ferrari.
Well, hopefully that can kickstart his campaign. So
that's him saying that if there's wet conditions, I'm in. And look, he's got by far, him and HO are by far the best with the penalties, only having 1 penalty each. So
indeed. So Ben takes the win from Ryan and Warden. They've both been beaten on the strategy. Zombie finishes a great 4th after a difficult qualifying for him. Neon 5th, Jetson 6th. Another good fight back for him after another poor qualifying performance. Poms in 7th, and here you see the masses of penalties. Matt in 8th, Mitchie 9th, Penske 10th, Conrad in 11th, just outside the points. His consistency is continuing. And the ones out the back wondering where their race went wrong, pretty much. Unfortunately, we had Roscoe lag out as well.
Which is a shame for him because he was right up the front. HO obviously caught up in that first lap incident, which caused both himself and Jared's races to be destroyed, which is a shame for him.
No.
Get the podium interviews happening.
And is it the same? Is it our usual 3 on the podium again? I think we've only had 4 people on the podium this year. Or this season.
Don't forget to include your audio, guys.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't do a me.
No.
Alright, well, we'll kick it off. And massive congratulations to the winner, Mr. Ben Marduk. He's outwitted the Pink Panthers on the strategy. Well done, Ben. Obviously, the super soft tyre in qualifying was the ideal strategy. It turns out.
Yeah, I suppose it was. Looking at the race, it said around 45 minutes into the race it would rain, and I heard it was raining out on the track from the moment qualifying started, and yes, it was like the ideal strategy, but the time it took me to like go through everything and figure everything out meant that I was last out of everyone to leave and start a lap, so quite a long way down the order, but yeah, just happy it worked out in the end.
You go, Fish.
Sorry. Obviously, in I think it was Azerbaijan, you said that you wanted to go that one better. Unfortunately, last week you couldn't get there, but this week you've obviously got that one better. So, must be great to finally get that win and take the wins off the Pink Panthers.
Yeah, cheers. I knew a win was always coming. Just had to get it right, and today I did, I suppose.
Easily.
Obviously, you're pretty close in the standings with these two other guys. Do you hope that this can kickstart the rest of your season heading into Austria?
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely gives me a bit of confidence and a bit of momentum. So, yeah, we'll see what happens from here. But yeah, also GG to the other guys on the podium as well. They had quite the battle. Just getting to the end there with their tyres and stuff. So, could imagine they had a pretty sweaty race too.
Yeah.
All right, well done, Ben. We'll move on to Ryan, second place. You're outwitted by the sneaky boys in red today. It obviously didn't turn out the way you planned. Do you think, looking back now, that you should have qualified on the Super Soft?
Yeah. As soon as I left the pits in qualifying, I was like, why the hell did I not go on a harder compound? But yeah, I had no choice when I pitted. They were on like 70% every time, so
Yeah.
GG to old mate, outsmarting us.
Obviously, you should still have the lead of the championship, but do you now worry that Ben is going to be coming for you in these next races?
I don't know. Just one race at a time, you know. See what happens. It's gonna be pretty tight between the three of us, I think, when we get to the end of the season.
Well, heading into this weekend, you're only separated by 20 points, so it's it's at this stage it's going to be another closely fought championship.
Indeed.
Yeah, like it nice
Moving-
and tight up the top makes for a good spectacle.
Yep. Moving on to our third place driver, Warden. It's a late
good day.
pit stop to jump back on the ultra softs at the end. Your inters just super. I do
Yeah.
apologise. Yes, super softs. Had your inters just had enough at the end there?
No, I pitted for Inters first, yeah, and then they died off quickly. I had to pit another set for Inters, which were like, I felt like Jesus. I felt like Jensen Button going through the field. And then I did a sneaky move on Zombie into the pit lane to get that position.
Picked up on that. That was
We
might be so much of Seb.
We were watching, and I think Zombie was just caught napping a bit there. So
Yeah, I
good,
just noticed
good
it was
job.
too slow. The supers felt probably better in the moist conditions than the ultras.
Again, going back to the question I asked your teammate, do you think that you probably should have qualified on the supers, just taking that short-term pain for the long-term gain?
I was just sleeping in the garage, didn't think about it. My tyres felt fine at the start. I just saw Rain had damage. I thought Ryan was going to pit the next lap,
Yeah.
so I pitted earlier.
Yeah.
Just out of
That's
curiosity,
undercut.
what actually caused that front wing damage that you
Bit of oversteer out of the chicane before the hairpin.
Ah, yeah. You just
Mm.
slapped the wall.
Yeah, give it a good kiss.
Just
Bit of a
quickly,
smooch.
quickly before we finish up, obviously Austria's next week. How do you think you guys will run there? Anyone you think that will pop up?
Gross.
I like it. Not much else to
Yeah,
say.
I think it's a nice track. Not too sure how overtaking it's going to be, but it should be alright.
Cool.
I swear
Alright.
we've got the Ferraris and the Force Indias mixed up. We've got Ben with being the talkative one, and the other, and the Force Indias are being like Kimi Raikkonen at the moment.
And then
Lel.
Well, anyway, good luck for the next race, guys. At behalf of myself and Formula Fish, we will
Yes.
see you next week.
yeah,
Bye.
Feel welfare.
welfare.
Goodbye.